Big Brother 27 foot, Lauren Domingue reflects on eviction and rift with Morgan. Big Brother 27 has been packed with blindsides, shifting alliances, and tense personal dynamics. This week, Lauren Domingue's eviction gave fans new insight into how fractured relationships can shape strategy inside the house. In candid post-show interviews, Lauren opened up about her struggles with Morgan. She talked about her dynamic with Vince and how miscommunication ultimately sealed her fate. Lauren on her eviction. Speaking with Parade, Lauren admitted she felt her eviction was a direct result of being unable to find a stable footing in the house. She described the experience as both challenging and frustrating, especially as she tried to navigate shifting loyalties. "It was definitely a battle to balance personal feelings with the strategy of the game," she said. She acknowledged that alliances kept slipping away at key moments. Clashes with Morgan. In her interview with Men's Journal, Lauren explained why she and Morgan Pope could never see eye to eye. The two houseguests frequently found themselves working at cross purposes. Their inability to trust each other made it impossible to build a lasting partnership. "We could never get on the same page," Lauren revealed. She added that the tension often spilled into how others perceived her game, the personal strain. Lauren described her fractured relationship with Morgan as one of the hardest parts of her time on Big Brother 27. She noted that while she tried to approach situations strategically, lingering personal issues created obstacles she couldn't overcome. The rift with Morgan was so entrenched that it not only affected her gameplay. It also complicated her relationships with other players, including Vince. Looking back at the season. Though her journey ended earlier than she hoped, Lauren said she valued the experience for pushing her out of her comfort zone. Her eviction highlighted the importance of communication and trust, two factors that have repeatedly dictated the course of Big Brother 27. With major players like Vince and Morgan still shaping the house dynamics, her departure leaves fans wondering how alliances will continue to shift in the weeks ahead. Big Brother 27 continues to prove that the line between personal connections and gameplay is thinner than ever. For Lauren Domingue, that line ultimately determined her fate. As the season moves forward, the houseguests who succeed may be the ones who can bridge those divides before it's too late. Big Brother 27 runner-up Vince Panaro says he's not too worried about relationship after alliance with Morgan, exclusive. Vinny the Lip also gets into managing multiple alliances, and whether he would have taken Lauren or Morgan to the final two. While he walked into the Big Brother 27 house unemployed, Vince Panaro wore a lot of hats this season, well, technically just one. Despite his immense doubt in himself, he was one of the biggest competitors of the season, tying an all-time hoe record. He wheeled and dealed the most in the house, having a final two alliance with over half the cast at one point. And he served as a partner in an incredibly complex strategic and personal relationship with Morgan Pope. But, for all the jobs Vince filled this season, there was one for which his application was denied: Big Brother winner. Vince's self-proclaimed strategy going into the game was simple: wing it, then adapt, then wing it, then adapt. Nowhere is that more clear than the first week of the game. Vince gunned for the first hoe to ensure his safety. However, once he realized he had to begin making nominations, angering people in the process, the more he began to unravel. And when he was presented an easy out, with Kelly Jorgensen volunteering for the block, he nearly committed a massive BB blunder in evicting his own ally. Luckily, Vince made it through his hoe unscathed, and he used the opportunity to build many, many alliances. Wanting to make sure he was protected on all sides, he wanted to work with anyone and everyone. The downside of that, however, is that he often was the swing vote at every eviction, leaving the fate of his allies in his hands. Every decision he made angered somebody, as he would frantically spend the next hours and days doing damage control. Vince's position finally got the best of him during Ava Pearl's hoe, when she nominated him and called him out publicly on all of his alliances. And, while Vince survived his first eviction vote, he had lost his closest ally Zach Cornell. His game, much like the egg detective costume he walked around the house in, was beginning to crack. It was in that moment that Vince began to put his eggs in a few select baskets. He locked down with two number ones, Lauren Domingue and Morgan Pope. But, inevitably, it proved complicated. During Vince's third hoe, Morgan felt he was more loyal to Lauren than her. And so, after days of pushing, late nights, and way too long hugs, she was finally able to convince him to put her on the block. It was the fortification of a certain narrative for Vince. The power that he held didn't matter, it was what he was doing with it. And it seemed, more and more, his primary purpose was in service to his relationship with Morgan, which was growing more complicated and emotionally fraught by the day. When Vince choked in part 2 of the final hoe competition, he completely self-destructed, beating himself up and crumbling at the idea of losing out on the chance of making the final 2. But when Ashley Hollis won the final bit of power and took him, he felt, on paper, his relationships and dominant strategy gave him a good shot at the money. Unfortunately, this was one of the things this season that Vince couldn't get his hands on. He was lambasted by the jury for his game of lyin' and cryin', being accused of emotionally manipulating them. Despite losing near unanimously, he still walked out with his beanie held high, making the most money he's ever had in his life. Hours after leaving the house, Vince speaks with Parade about his reaction to the jury vote and Ashley's performance, his relationship with Morgan, and whether he used his emotions to manipulate as people claimed. Hey, Vince. I want to start by asking, I know it's been a whirlwind. Are you okay? Yeah, no, I'm good. I mean, it was a dream of mine to play Big Brother and I got to do it. It's funny, near the end of the last few days, I was getting more sad. I was like, I don't want this to end. I don't want this to end. I don't want to leave the house. It became your safe space. So I'm good. I got the full experience, and that's all I hoped for. You didn't seem all that disappointed when Ashley won the final hoe, knowing you would get taken to the final 2. So what were your expectations going into the jury deliberation? And what was your reaction to Ashley's answers? I mean, obviously all I know is my own game and my own perception of my game. And I didn't know anything that the jury was thinking. I didn't know Ashley's game because we hadn't worked super close throughout the season. I knew Morgan's game. Morgan played an unbelievably good game. I mean, she was a frontrunner to win this thing all the way through, incredible. So I felt like I would have lost against Morgan. I thought I had better odds against Ashley, just because I didn't know her game as well. But as soon as she started speaking, and she speaks so well, and I saw the jury reactions, I started to think my jury management might have shot myself in the foot with this one. So here goes nothing. Were there any jury votes that surprised you one way or the other? I was kind of surprised Lauren didn't give me a vote. But I think because I put her on the block, she was probably pretty upset about that, so I don't blame her. You said several times in the house that you felt Ashley was doing nothing and didn't deserve to make it far into the game. What made you believe that, and what's your reaction to that now, considering how everything went down? I mean, she played a way better game than I was aware of. And my hat off to her, because that was a very under-the-radar game. I was unaware of what she did. So all I have is my perception of what I thought she had done up to that point. I had no idea about the social aspects of her game. So when she started talking, I became a fan of hers. And I was looking at her, I was like, yeah, alright, fair enough. Ashley told you that Morgan was planning to take you out if she won the final hoe. And I can confirm that she did say that to Julie as well. Wait, so Morgan was planning on taking Ashley? Yeah. So what are your thoughts about that? Would you have voted for Morgan even if she evicted you? I figured I never got information, but I would have still voted for Morgan for sure. I know she had to do what was best for her game, and I know what this game meant to her, too. So you know what? If I'm the one saying, all is fair in the Big Brother house, then if somebody does it to me, who am I to complain about it? In your jury speeches, you were being accused of using your emotions to manipulate people, something you vehemently denied. Do you really believe that to be true? No, I mean, it's a reality. I didn't think I was going to be that emotional going into it, but I felt strongly. And when I spoke passionately, I don't know. I can't fake cry, I can't make those up. I can't create that and fabricate that. So when I spoke, I was just speaking passionately. And I didn't know the perception of that. But, I just played the best game I could. And some tears happened to have fallen from my eyes, I guess. You spoke in the preseason about how your game was wing it, adapt, wing it, adapt. Did you ever debate deviating from that strategy, especially as you were getting into the moments where someone would be angry with you after every eviction? Yeah. I did not expect my game socially to revolve around damage control. The winging it and then adapting seemed to have worked, I guess, to a second-place finish. When you're living it and you're in it, it's so hard to get a grasp on things sometimes. The game moves so fast, and then worst-case scenario happens. You're like, well, the blockbuster is here, and there's 3 nominees, so you don't know who's going to be on the block or not. And you want to tell them this, and it just catches up to you. It's a very tough game to navigate. Did you ever think about changing up your strategy, considering how many people you were betraying with all the promises you were making? Yeah, I definitely thought about it. I'm not sure